Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Wherever you are in the world today, I hope that you and your loved ones are in good health. Once again, welcome to the Common Sense channel. On this channel, we get to talk about those things that people know, that people have thought about, but don't often have the time to discuss. These, my friends, are the things we discuss here on the Common Sense channel. So once again, welcome to the Common Sense channel. Today I want to talk to you about the foreign and imported religion in Africa. Today I want to discuss with you the foreign and imported religion in Africa. Africa is notorious. Africa is notorious for importing everything, including, my friends, religion. So that's what we're going to talk about. Africa, the motherland, the place my entire being came from. Africa and religion. Africa and religion. Africa and religion. Africa import food. Africa import water. Africa import cars. Africa import houses. Africa import shoes. Africa import timber. Africa import planes. Africa import guns. Africa import livelihood. Africa import rice. Africa import cocoa. Africa import plantain. Africa import air. Africa import clothes. Africa import electronics. Every facet of society or the human condition, everything that will make life enjoyable, livable, Africa import them. And most importantly, and the one that even our ancestors are in the grave asking the question, what's wrong with y'all? Is that Africa import the gods. Africa import religion. For example, Christianity is an imported religion. It's not African religion. Christianity does not belong to Africa. Islam, Africa imported Islam. Christianity belongs to the Europeans. Islam belongs to the Arabs. Africa import other religion and leave the ancestors to wonder when they are coming back home. Africa import everything and leave the ancestors to wander in the wilderness and asking, where are my children? So when someone wonder why the Europeans are fighting hard when you hear something is going on in Africa about their imported product called Christianity, you see how they are fighting to go rescue them? They're fighting to go rescue their minions. You see that? Because Christianity was imported to Africa. Have you ever seen an African export religion? Have you ever seen an African exporting Christianity to China, Korea, Japan, South Korea? or any other part of the world? Have you ever seen an African exporting religion, Christianity? Africans can only import religion. Now, all those people don't know, and all those people around the world don't know what is happening in Africa with religion. I'm going to tell you that in this video. That's what we're going to discuss in this video. Some of us, we're not against the concept of religion. You know, helping the poor, the needy, you know, that's a good thing. But the people that are spearheading religion are the problem. And that's what we're talking about. When I come on my channel, I don't say bad things. There are people that say terrible things about Jesus. I don't. Because I know the real Jesus. And sometimes I want those people that are saying bad things about Jesus, I want them to meet the real Jesus, not the fake one that the Europeans brought to Africa. So when you see these Africans doing the same thing as the Europeans, don't be upset. So now let's look at religion in Africa. The government is supposed to work for the people, right? That's the role of the government. In this country, the government is not supposed to do for the people. When religion was established, it was the role of religion. Most of these big hospitals, and this is true, most of these big hospitals that you see in this country, you know how they started? They started by religious houses. Churches started some of these hospitals that you see today in this country. Let me tell you, that was the role of the church. But for over time, the church started to relinquish their role. And then government step in. Government has to step in because the church was not playing their part. And that's what's happening. The church now works for the government. Most of them are 501c3. What is 501c3? Basically, they're subletting jobs from the government. The government gives them job and then they work. All those food pantries that you see, those are just jobs that the church is doing for the government. You know, institution is not strong. Government is not strong enough to provide a kind of institution to meet the needs of the poor. Way back in the days, the church used to take care of the community for free because it was money coming from the community and it was money going back into the community. This is here now. And in other Western countries, that's how it is. The church is taking job from the government and doing what the government is not that the government is not able to do it, but they are doing it in the form of charity, but they are getting paid. So you see, when I go back and talk about church and government, don't be upset because there's a link between the two. Now, let me tell you about Africa, why Africa is behind in terms of this connection. In Africa, and this is true, religion is not doing what they need to do. But here's what religion is doing. What the government is failing to do is what religion is doing. But the way religion is doing it is not like how religion is doing here in this country. You understand? In this country, religion, even though they get paid, but at least they're doing something for the community. Somehow, you know, we can say that somehow. They need to do more. They need to do more. Like if you ask certain group of people in this country, they'll tell you it's not the role of the government to take care of the society. It's the role of the church to take care of the society. In Africa, the church is not taking care of the society. The church is not taking care of the community. The church is not taking care of the society. The church is not taking care of the people that lives in the society. And neither is the government. So this country, the church is playing its role because the church gets job from the government and the church provides services. Way back then, the government was not interfering with the church. So the church was doing all that on their own based on money that was coming in from the community and going back into the community. So if you find out all those preachers, man, back in the days, I mean in the 30s and in the 20s and in the 40s, they were not super rich. Some of them became super rich when the government got involved in the church. You understand? That's the whole game. In Africa, if you don't know Africa and you're a Christian in this country, you're a religious person in this country, you need to understand how churches run in Africa and why the Africans are not so happy with how religion is being run in Africa. And for those of us that live overseas, we see these things and we are not happy about it. We understand the teachings of Jesus. There's a part of the scripture that said there is always going to be the poor amongst you. You understand? There's always going to be poor people. You understand? But what the church is doing in Africa and mosques too is they're suppressing the people. They're not helping them with the necessary bare necessities that they need. Imagine when someone is sick and you're severely sick. I can attest to this. When you're severely sick, where do you go? To the hospital, right? In this country, if someone is sick and they need to go to the hospital and you don't take them to the hospital and you pray for them and they die, you are liable for that. In this country, you are liable for that. If a preacher man knows someone is severely sick and don't advise that person to go to the hospital and they die, that preacher man is liable for the death of that person. Now check this out for those of you who don't know how religion is run in Africa. When someone is sick in Africa, my friend, instead of the preacher man telling that person to go to the hospital, they'll give them something called holy water. They'll give them remedy that has no power, nothing. And then that person will believe that whatever they give them is going to help them. And then they will be in that until they die. Why is that? Because government failed to provide the institution that would make that person want to go there and get care. So you see, so instead of the church forcing or advocating on the behalf of the community so that the government can build medical institution, so that these people can go there for care when they are sick. Instead, they are giving them remedy called holy water so they can cure them. Some will pray on the people, knowing that that stuff is not going to work. You understand? A prayer without action is vain prayer. If you pray, you must have action to it. You must add action to it. That's why you have doctors. When you pray and you believe the prayer, go to the hospital. The Almighty will work through that doctor to heal you. There are many people that die in Africa because of incident like that. The preacher man would take your money even though you were sick. Imagine someone with cancer would go to a church and tell the pastor, the preacher, the bishop, whatever his title is, that they're sick. They're severely sick. And that preacher man would tell them that I will pray for you. Let's fast for 40 days and whatever. You will heal. And then guess what? Inside of that person is dying. And they're praying in vain. You understand? So this is the role that the church is playing in Africa. So the church is actually the ones that are playing the role of government. And government just sit back doing nothing. You understand? The roads are bad. When there's terrible accident, people go to church and pray. The preacher man tells them the reason why there's accident is because witches are on that side of the road. And that's the reason why the accidents are happening. But in reality, the government is supposed to make the roads, supposed to fix the roads so that it prevents accident from happening. So you see, religion mixed with superstition, in my view, and the Apostle Paul said this, religion is a form of superstition. And that's what plaguing Africa. Not only all of the things that I listed here, religion is so divisive in Africa. If a civil war breaks up, if it's not Christian fighting Muslim, it's Muslim fighting Christians. All in the name of foreign religion. None of this religion belongs to the continent of Africa. Our ancestors don't know these things, but they had to go through excruciating humiliation to accept this foreign religion called Islam and Christianity. All of those religion does not belong to Africa. But I can see, because Africa import everything. Africa import everything they eat, the water they drink, the air they breathe, the car they drive, the house they sleep in, the clothes they wear. So if they import religion, there's no reason why you should be upset. And that's the reason why people like myself, when I come on this channel and I say religion is the problem, if you're out there, please don't be upset. Don't be upset. You don't know what the Africans are going through. And that's the reason why I pray every month that our ancestors can wake up from wherever they are and start to open the minds of our people so they can see that religion is not helping Africans at all. All of the world have moved on and are prospering. And Africa is still wallowing in darkness. No one is going to save you. No religion is going to save you but yourself. If you want to know the 50 richest people in Africa right now, don't take it from me. Nowadays, we live in information world. In the technological world, everything is right at your fingertip. You just need to use your phone and just go on Google and you can see it yourself. And then look for YouTube. The 50 richest preacher men in Africa are preacher men. Richest people, other than the richest black man in the world, Dangote. The richest people in Africa, my friends, with more wealth, more land, more cars, all of the things that Jesus himself, Yeshua HaMashiach, spoke against, these people possess them. These people, instead of them building factory, businesses for those people to work, instead of building churches, mega churches. Are Jesus in those buildings? No. Are God in those buildings? No. Are the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in those buildings? No. Why don't we talk more about Islam? Why? Have you ever seen the richest imam in the world with 10 jets? Have you ever seen the richest imam? That's why we don't talk about Islam. Christianity is bad for Africa. And if Donald Trump is upset against that, I said it on my channel. Christianity is not good for our people. Our people needs to start to think and make this place their home. This place here, the earth. God has given you, the Almighty has given mankind this place. He's given us brain. I'm going to say he for the sake of my video. The Almighty Spirit has given us brains to think. The only people who is not thinking are Africans. This place right here, there's no other place but this earth. This is our home. This is our internal home. By the way, you're not going to die. No human being is going to die. You're going to transition. We're all transition. That's what's happening to us. We are recycling ourselves. We're not going to die. The only people that dies are the people that don't have no children, that bear no children in this world. They're the ones that are not going to live. forever. But anyone that have children, that bring forth children into this world, is guaranteed everlasting life. You understand? I wish I can show you something. So religion is not good for Africa. America is not a religious country. It's never been. And you know it. You're going to go because you exported religion to Africa. So you feel you can go protect your religion. Donald Trump, you know how many Nigerians you deported that were Christians? You know how many Nigerians you deported that was living in this country illegally? You know? You need to check that list. They were all Christian. You send them back. Africa problem is not religion. It's not the Africa. I'm sorry. Take it back. Africa problem is not the Africans themselves. It's your religion, your imported religion. That is the one dividing us. We do have issues with tribalism or tribalism. We do. But religion is like the fuel that is placed on the fire. We're not going to have religious war in Africa. It's not going to happen. If it didn't happen over there, the one you guys were trying to start in the Middle East, the so-called Middle East, the one you're trying to start between the Muslim and the people of God. You understand? The one you're trying to start over there, that didn't happen. It's not going to happen in Africa. We can see it. We know what's going on. There would never be a religious war in Africa. And I think whatever you will do, Mr. Trump, in Africa, I think it's going to unite the Africans and it's going to move us away from religion. We don't need religion in Africa, especially imported religion. Christianity, Islam, whatever is in that continent does not belong to us. Africans, Black people, our religion, our ancestors. That's who we used to worship before you came there. Things fall apart. You need to read that book. Things Fall Apart. Chinua Achebe. You need to read it. You brought your religion and now you're going to go fight. You say you're going to take your troops to Africa to free who? To save who? I pray that our ancestors wake up. Wake up wherever you are, great ancestors. We don't want no European in Africa trying to fight for so-called religion. When in Europe, religion is dying, in this country, Christianity is fading away. You need to look at the statistics, Mr. President. Look at the statistics and see. The population is changing. You're still stuck in the past. And you can't see that people are changing. No one is going to save you. In this country, it's not prayer that makes you eat. It's not prayer that pays your bills. It's not prayers that take care of you. If you don't work, you will be homeless. If you don't work, you will not eat. That's the reality in this country. And I think in most part of the world, except in Africa. And that's why I pray every month. And that's my prayer, that the African wake up. They need to look in other parts of the world and see what's happening. I don't want to use China, but I like to use China for case study. You go to China, most of them don't believe in that nonsense. Because you know why? Their God, I would say God, because I say Almighty, gives them brains. And they use their brains proper. I won't say properly, proper. And for those of us that comes to this country, we know what religion is. All of us had our social shock. When I came into this country, I had my own social shock because I was just like them in Africa. I was brainwashed. I was dumb. The education system in Africa is garbage. You don't really know the truth because everything that is told to you is garbage. They told you of a God that saves you. He's what? From the Middle East, the so-called Middle East, that don't look nothing like you. We're the only race of people that our gods don't look like us. Our Savior don't look like us. We don't want religion in Africa. You don't want it here in America. In this country, you know, Mr. President, in this country, you can't force that stuff on anyone here. You can't. And you're not bigger than the laws of this country. This country laws, America, the laws of this country is bigger than you, sir. And the laws in this country says you have the right to think however you want to think, be whatever religious beliefs you want to have. So how are you going to go impose that views on someone in Africa? Africa don't need nobody to solve the problem. We don't want religious war. Whatever that religious war is, it is going back to sender. Whatever it came from is going there because we know if something like that should happen in Africa, we know how many people are going to die senselessly because religious war are nasty. I've seen it. I've seen religious war and tribal war. They are not good. 1994, Rwanda. 1994, Sierra Leone. 1990, 94, up to the 2000s. We don't want that stuff in there. All we want is for religion, foreign religion. You know who they are. Our gods are not that. These people, our gods are not Arab. Our gods are not Europeans. Our gods are African. We don't need no imported religion. I mean, you send us your cars. You send us everything, the clothes the Africans wear. You send that to them. You sell it to them. You sell them the material they use to build their houses, the food they eat. You build the streets. You do everything there for them. You sell everything that they're using for their livelihood. And you still want to sell them religion. Those minions you have in Africa called preacher men, pastor deacons, they're not doing anything for the people. They're not helping Africans. They're not growing the economy. Instead of them growing the economy, they're taking from it. There are preachers in Africa that abuse children, abuse the congregation, and get away with it. All in the name of European God, Jesus. His name, most of them don't even know anything about that book. When the book was written, Africans, answer me, Mr. President. When that book was written, was Africans there? Was any black man sitting in the hall of the Nicaea Council when they were discussing the Bible or your religious text? Was African there? Any black person there? So why is it that we have to accommodate that stuff? We don't want your religion. We don't mind. We're taking those things now. We're taking those things that you've given to us. If, in fact, I think there will come a time we wouldn't even want anything from you. Just leave the Africans alone. Leave them the hell alone and mega this country. Mega this country, my friends. My friend, mega. You are just annoying people. You just need to make America great again. That's what you said you would do. Everyone thought that you would be a different person. And you turn out to be just like the same old people that have been running this country for the past 2, 3, 4, 5 decades. Make America great, man, like you say you would do. That's what you need to do. Forget about religion. Religion, we're trying to weed that stuff out of Africa. They can stay there, but we don't want them spreading anymore. We want jobs for the African people. All those churches need to be replaced by factory. And you can agree with that because you, sir, is a capitalist. That's what you are. You're a capitalist. And a capitalist believes in business and money and profit and greed and everything in between. We don't want religion. We don't want imported religion. We don't want foreign religion. Our gods are not these people. None of these people are going to save us. If we're going to be saved by anything, it's going to be ourselves, Africans. We know ourselves. I always say on my videos, the only way any African living in any part of this world, in America, in Europe, in Asia, in South America, in wherever you find yourself, in Australia, look, the only way you can be respected or will be respected is when that continent is respected. So you have to do your best every day to advocate on behalf of the continent. It's not wrong. I don't think it's wrong to advocate on behalf of a human being. Africans are human beings. They have dreams. They have aspiration beyond religion. Religion does not do anything for you. It don't make you better human beings. We are born with these things by way of our ancestors. African ancestor has never done anything bad to anyone that I know of. We've never gone to Europe and do anything that was terrible. We've never gone to South America and do to those people things that were not good. We've never oppressed anyone until your religion came into Africa. And you want to tell me in 2025, when Africans are saying we don't want your religion, you're pushing it on us? You know how many people are dying in Africa by religion? Something that we didn't even have. We never had that problem in Africa. We never had that problem in Africa. Never. Until you came. Until you came with your foreign religion. Look at Islam, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, brought a good idea. The Prophet Muhammad peace be upon him, came to Africa. He saw the way the people was living, brought the religion. The second in command to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was Bilal, an African who understood the African tradition and culture, never changed anything. When we say this, you think it's a lie. It's not a lie. All these things are happening with Boko Haram, Al-Shabaab, and all these people. They just want a way of life. You also want your way of life. If someone comes into this country and try to do stuff like that, you are not going to want that. These people just want their way of life. If they want to live in the Stone Age, let them be. If Africans want to worship the way they want to worship, let them be. Who are you to go and tell people how to live? And this is what religion has always done, especially Christianity. Impose their views on other people, tell them how to live. Jesus never imposed himself, Yeshua Mashiach, never imposed himself on anyone. All he did was teach the people. He was a teacher, a master teacher. You are imposing this stuff on people. No one is killing. In the case of Nigeria, they are both Muslims and Christian dying over this religious thing. It's religious war. No one need no one to come and save them. If anything, it should be God himself, the Almighty, coming from wherever he is to save the people. That is if they believe. The only person that can save them is themselves, not you. Going to Chinese sending your troop, how you want to spread them all over the world? These poor innocent boys, all they're trying to do is to find a way for themselves in life. They're not spendable. Just leave them alone. Leave these people alone. Don't impose anything on them. You impose everything. You put tariff on them. You deported them. No one is safe with you anyway. And yet, you still want to force down their throat your religion. And you're not even religious, Donald Trump. Donald Trump, you haven't declared yet that you're Christian. I haven't heard you say you're Christian, Mr. Trump. I've known you. That's why I did when you start the deportation, I did a video and I said, I know who you are. I wish I can show you, but something, but yeah, just leave him alone, man. Just if anything, promote Christianity in America. Let more and more people. I think if you look at the statistic, Mr. President, you see that even young people are moving away. Ask your people to show you the newer statistics on young people. When I say young people, I'm talking about my age group now, like in the 40s, 30, late 30s into 40s. Just ask and see. They'll show you. Don't worry about Nigeria, Africa. They'll solve it themselves. We have competent leaders, the young ones. The old ones, they're sleeping. Yeah, you put them there. You import leaders too. So it's not you just importing everything that Africans use for bare necessities and for their livelihood. You also import leaders too. So you import religion, leaders, the puppet leaders, all of them. I'm saying my videos because here's the thing. On the Common Sense channel, right? I talk about those things that people don't want to talk about, but they know them, but they don't have the time to discuss. I talk about them. So I say religion serve no purpose in Africa. And I believe the day religion leaves Africa, that will be the day of our salvation. I know it's 1,000 years work. It took 1,000 years to get the African to where they are today. Anyone wants to liberate Africa, you need to start working on the young ones. That's who needs to start to understand that all this foreign religion has no place in our society. Africa needs to bundle them up and send them back to where they came from. They came from Europe. Even America, religion came from Europe and came into the Americas, not just North America. Go down there and ask the people of their history of what religion done in South America. When they finish talking to you, you become something else. Because some of us, all we did the research. So when we say religion is not good for Africa, we know what we're talking about. There are many of us in the diaspora that understand these things. And we know the reality because we live here. It's not just in America. In any Western countries, religion don't do nothing for you. It is you, my friends, that have to do it for yourself. And if you don't do it, the chances of you being homeless in this country, it is 99.999% if you don't have the bare necessity to life, if you don't have a job. And right now, with what's happening in our country, every morning you wake up, there's a huge layoff somewhere in the country. That's not even the good news. And I say, Mr. President, let's focus on that because a lot of people in this country voted for MEGA. You know what MEGA means? It means Make America Great Again. Make America Great Again. That's what it means. I hope you haven't forgotten what that meant. There are a lot of people out of work. Some of us were barely even making 40 hours. We're just dragging. And our companies, thanks to capitalism, even though things are bad, but they're thriving. And that's why, me personally, I don't have nothing against capitalism. The only thing I don't like about capitalism is our greedy people. The concept is great. Like I always say, everything is good, except when bad people, greedy people, terrible people, human beings with no morals, human beings that has bad genetic makeups in them, when they lay their hands on these things, that's when it become corruptible. Africa don't need no more imported religion. We don't want no one coming there to save anyone from anything. No one is dying in Africa from religion. If any, Nigeria problem been there forever. Since I can remember in the 2000s, the people, Muslim been dying from terrorism in Nigeria, same as Christians. Both of them been murdered by these things. Now, if you're paying attention, Mr. President, you see now there are copycats coming up in Nigeria. Why? Because they want you to start their religious war for them. Don't fall into that trap, my friend. Don't. It's a trap. Religious war is nasty. It's terrible. You know, Central Africa, that's what it had. They were fighting over someone's religion. And both of those people, one from Europe, the other one from, how they call it, the Mid East, the so-called Middle East. You understand? The reason why I always say Christianity is European religion, because look, all the disciples has European names. Although sometimes they tell you they were all Jews, but those are not Jewish names. Peter, John, Matthew, Luke, Andrew, are those Jewish names or Hebrew names? No, they're not. Those are all Europeans. You understand? Jesus, their king, real name was Yeshua Mashiach. That would be more towards the Hebrew Israelites people or Israelites, because that's a Semitic name. You understand? So that's Christianity is European religion. And after World War II, I love history, right? The Europeans were following that religion until after World War II. European, aka European Civil War. Right after that, that's when the Europeans started to change. They were changing gradually before World War II, aka European Civil War. But then right after that, most Europeans, if you look at most Germans are not even religious. Most Germans are not religious. You understand? They don't believe in that stuff. You know that. And so are Americans. Americans are not, especially the young people in this day and age, are not religious. They don't even go to that place called church. They don't have to, because Yeshua HaMashiach himself said it. The church is in you. You don't need to go into it. The Creator does not live into that thing. All those huge mega churches, huge edifices. The Almighty don't live in that stuff. The Almighty lives in you, and it's you. If someone is in your body, what is it? If someone possesses your body, then what does that make that person? You. You understand? That's the logic we try to share with y'all sometime, but you're not getting it. So please, Mr. President, now you see how I started my video and then how I'm ending it. Please stay out of that place. It's a ticking bomb. You don't want to be. You don't want to send these poor innocent who love our sons and daughters. You know, we don't want them in that place. Please, just leave them alone. Nigeria is Africa's sleeping giant. All Nigeria needs to do is wake up. Don't allow these fanatics, because I know that the richest pastor, Mr. President, the richest pastors in Africa, did you know that they are from Nigeria? I believe they're the ones stirring up this thing. But let me tell you something. When you ask for something, it's like a slippery slope or Pandora box. You don't want it. That's why I personally think democracy and religion, they're the same. The religion is trying to save you for someone, you know, for someone. Democracy is trying to save you too from someone or something, you know. But both of them, you don't want them saving you. You just want to save yourself. Only you can save yourself. Forget about these two, democracy and religion. Don't ask for them, because when they come at your door, you may not like the outcome. So we don't want no imported religion. We don't want anything that's going to come and create something that would be devastating for the continent of Africa. So all of your imported religion, please take them to wherever they came from. I know Europe has abandoned Christianity a long time ago. Like I said, the last bastion of this religion is this country. And I think in the next 5 to 10 years, take it from the Common Sense channel, this country is going to move slowly, slowly towards secularism. Religion is going to fade away. It's going to happen. Yes. Because the old generation, they're going to pass away. It's not going to be too long. And the old generation are stuck in their belief systems, you know, the stronghold. So they're going to pass away. Once they pass away, in the next 10 to 15 to 20 years, we're going to be moving into a new generation. That'll be my own generation. So we're going to be taking their place. I'm going to be in my 60s, 60 something at that time. You understand? So that would be our generation. So we're going to run this thing the way we want to run it. You can live in this world. I'm the most decent human being on the planet. I'm not lying to anyone. You check my record, you won't see anything on there. Because I believe in the golden rule. You treat others as you want them to treat you. And that's how I live my life. I don't have anything with anyone. Whatever someone want to do, let them do it. Whatever they want, however they want to live their life, that's their business. It have nothing to do with me. As long you're not imposing. The only thing I don't like is don't impose whatever it is you're doing. Don't impose that on me. As long you don't threat, as long you're not threatening on me, I am fine with you. I can laugh and play with you all day. And that's how our world's supposed to be. Our world's supposed to be like that. No one is supposed to be infringing on anyone. Everyone should be able to live the way they want to live. That's their life. As long they are not breaking the rules. I always call them boundaries. Because you don't want chaos. You don't want a chaotic scene. You want a world where everyone can respect each other. And I think that's what religion cannot teach you that. It's only you that look at yourself and say, man, I need to have some sense of decency. So that's what we want. So as I've always said on my channel, the greatest thing that can ever happen to anyone is not the day you were born, not the day you had your first car, the day you had your first child, the day you graduated from high school, college, the day you became a lawyer, doctor, engineer, whatever you're working on, my friends. The greatest thing that can ever happen to you is the day you discover yourself. Because from that day on, everything, my friends, will start to make sense to you, including this imported religion that has been plaguing the continent of Africa for generation to generation. Our ancestors fought them, but they brought their guns. the weapon of destruction, mass destruction, and they subdue our people. Because that's what the book says. Go into the world and subdue everything. Power and dominion has been given to you to rule the world. And it said it was God talking. If God the Almighty, who doesn't care about the affairs of human beings, will not authorize you to go and subdue and have dominion over everything that walks the planet, then where does that place God himself? Or I say himself for the sake of my video. If you can have that kind of dominion that your God gave you, then what right does God have? That's the reason why when people are killing human beings like sheep and animal, nothing ever happened. God never moved and stopped anything because he's already given you the dominion to do it. So if your God says this is the power that you have to have dominion over everything that walks the earth, then if you are having that kind of dominion, do you think that God is going to step in and do anything? See, on my channel, this is what I try to make people think. Think. That's the only thing that can happen to you is the best thing. When you start to think, the moment you start to think, then you start to ask questions. And then the more question you ask, the more answer you will get. If you don't ask question, meaningful question, you wouldn't get answer. There's question and answer question, right? Question, answer, question. Get it? So again, I want to thank all those people that continue to be subscribed on my channel. I honor you. I want to thank those that continue to watch my videos. I want to thank all those people that continue to support me. I honor you. I honor you. And I pray that one day the ancestors will wake the Africans up like they wake up the people in China, wake the people up in Southeast Asia, in other parts of the world where they're sleeping. Wake them up and say, look at the reality. Now you know who is plaguing you. Now you know your enemies. Initially, you didn't know who your enemy was. Now you know all the things that has been happening to you, who is responsible for them. Now it is time for you to wake up and start to make the changes that you need, even in this country. Now people are starting to understand that government is not the solution. There's been numerous presidents that I've seen in my lifetime. I've used this term, that government is not the solution. Instead, they are the problems. It's not me saying it. There's been leaders that said this thing, but people didn't understand what he was saying. Ronald Reagan was saying that. I think George Bush also said, a couple of presidents said the same. Government is not the solution, they are the problem. So if you're in your country and those things that you want, any country in this world, any part of this world, and you're not getting them, just look up to them. They are your problem. Religion too, because religion and government are the same. In Africa, the religious people, they are working for the government. So the government just sit back. So imagine if you're a government in Africa, the church is telling the people the reason why they're having accidents because demon, Satan is setting trap on the road. The witches the witches want blood, and that's why they're killing the people. If you're a president in Africa, and the people believe what the church is saying, are you going to fix the road? You're not going to fix the road. When people get sick, they go to the hospital. Instead of them going to the hospital to go to the church, they give them that fake water. Say Jesus is going to heal them. Nothing happened. Why would you want to build church why would you want to build hospitals when the church is healing them, so-called healing them? So you see, so the church is serving the role of the government, but yet doing nothing for the people. Instead, they're enriching themselves. Just imagine the most 50 richest people in Nigeria or in Africa or preacher men. We're talking about millionaires. What are they selling? Jesus. They're not selling Yeshua Mashiach. They're selling Jesus. You understand? Jesus. Jusus. What they're selling. Some of them write books they know nothing about. These people, when the Council of Nicaea met, no black man was there. It was all Europeans. And most of them were racist too. You understand? These were racist. They were sexist. They didn't even believe. Women were not even at the table. Women. And when Jesus, Yeshua Mashiach, was around, he had women with him. Always. There were always women with him. But when the Council of Nicaea met, there were no women in there. I'm not saying they go research it. When these people were forming what would become the Holy Grail, the Bible, all in the Quran, there were no women there. None. I'm not going to talk about black folk. You understand? So again, I just want to end my video right here. I hope all of you are doing great. I hope you and your family are in good health. That's always been my prayer, that you and your family are in good health and that your eyes come open, because only you can save yourself. No one can save you. Thank you and have a blessed day.